Students, welcome to the online classes of chemistry. So today we will discuss the azeotropic mixtures. So what are azeotropic mixtures? So azeotropic mixtures So what are azeotropic mixture? It is for 2 marks question. What are azeotropic mixture? Look here. The binary mixtures are binary solutions having the same composition in the vapor phase as well as in the liquid phase. So for example, here I will show. You look here, when a liquid, that is, it is liquid phase, and it is vapor phase. It is liquid phase, it is vapor phase. When binary solutions or binary mixtures having the same composition in the vapor phase, its composition is same in the vapor phase as well as in the liquid phase. So same composition and boils at constant temperature, are called azeotropic mixtures. Or there is another definition. The constant boiling liquids or constant boiling mixtures are binary solutions having same composition in the liquid phase as well as in the vapor phase. Means that is, when it has the same composition in the liquid phase as well as in the vapor phase, means there is no change in the composition, means these are called as azeotropic mixtures. So the binary mixtures are solutions having same composition in the vapor phase as well as in the liquid phase. The binary mixtures having same composition in the vapor phase as well as in the liquid phase and boils at constant temperature, is called azeotropic mixtures. Or there is another definition. The constant boiling liquids having same composition in the liquid phase as well as in the vapor phase is called azeotropes or azeotropic solutions or azeotropic mixtures. Look here, students. So the binary mixtures having the same composition in the liquid phase as well as in the gaseous vapor phase and boils at constant temperature are called as azeotropic mixtures. So here there are two types of azeotropic mixtures. One is minimum boiling azeotropic mixture, another one is maximum boiling azeotropes. So minimum boiling azeotropes means what? Minimum boiling azeotropes are the solutions which shows large positive deviation for Raoult's law at its same composition or at a specific composition are called as minimum boiling azeotropes. And maximum boiling azeotropes means what? The solutions which shows large negative deviation from Raoult's law at the same composition are called as maximum and minimum. So here let us discuss these two with example. There are two types of azeotropic mixtures. Look here. There are two types of azeotropic mixtures. There are two types of azeotropic mixtures. Number one, minimum boiling azeotropes, and second one, maximum boiling azeotropes. Look here students, what are minimum boiling azeotropes? So first one, the solutions which shows large positive deviation from Raoult's law, as already we discussed in ideal and non-ideal solutions. So what are positive deviation and negative deviation? So here the solutions which shows large positive deviation from Raoult's law. So here these are called as minimum, that is boiling azeotropes. The solutions which shows large positive deviation from Raoult's law at a specific composition. Raoult's law at a specific composition. Look here students, I will give an example here. So here the best example is rectified spirit. So what is rectified spirit? So the rectified spirit contains 95.5% ethanol plus 4.5% water. Look here students, 95.5% ethanol, ethyl alcohol, and 4.5% water. This is called as rectified spirit. It is called as an azeotropic mixture. And here these two mixtures cannot be separated by fractional distillation, because so here these are called as azeotropic forms. These are having same composition in the liquid phase as well as in the vapor phase. So here look here, so if you take that is ethanol in one beaker, that is or water, it boils at 100 degrees centigrade, and in another beaker ethanol is taken, and it boils at 78.6 degrees centigrade. Look here students, so water boils at 100 degrees centigrade and ethanol boils at 78.6 degrees centigrade. So rectified spirit contains both ethanol and water. It is called as azeotropic mixture, and these cannot be separated by fractional distillation. These can be separated by other methods, but this can be studied in organic chemistry. So here what is azeotropes? Only this is the concept. So here these two solutions when combined, look here, when these two solutions are combined, so therefore it boils at, mixture boils at, the mixture boils at 78.2 degrees centigrade. Look here students, it boils at 78.2 degrees centigrade. Means its boiling point is 100, its boiling point is 78.6 degrees centigrade, but when both the components are mixed, then the boiling point decreases. Boiling point decreases due to the increase in the vapor pressure. So 78.2 degrees centigrade it boils. So it is called as minimum boiling. Means water boils 100 degree centigrade, ethanol boils at 78.6 degree centigrade, but when both the components are mixed means when they are in the azeotropic form, so they boils at 78.2 degree centigrade, means they constantly boils, they cannot be separated. It is called as minimum boiling. So here it can be also represented by graphical method. Look here, by graphical method. So here, look here, it is water, its boiling point BP, boiling point 100 degree centigrade, water boils at 100 degree centigrade, ethanol boiling point, so it is 78.6 degree centigrade, or in some books 78.5 degree centigrade, no matter. So when both the components are mixed, look here, when both the components are mixed, then here it boils at 78.2 degree centigrade. It is the boiling point here. So look here, students. So when it is 100 degree centigrade, 78.6 degree centigrade, when both the components are mixed, it boils at 78.2 degree centigrade, but both boils, both the component boils, and these cannot be separated by fractional distillation. It is called as a minimum boiling azeotrophs. Then what are maximum boiling azeotrophs? Again same definition. The solutions are the binary mixtures again you may write same, that is the binary mixtures are solutions which shows the solutions are binary mixtures which shows large negative deviation from Raoult's law at a given composition or at a specific composition, at a specific composition, at a specific composition, means its composition must be specific. All the solutions are not called as azeotrophs. At a specific composition they form azeotropic mixture. Then here, look here students, the best example is, I will write here. So again I will take water, and here nitric acid is taken, HNO3, here HNO3 and nitric acid, when both are mixed, subjected for distillation, they distill up to that is, look here, 68% of water plus 32% of nitric acid forms azeotropic mixture. Look here students, 68% water and 32% nitric acid forms azeotropic mixture. So here 32%, that is here 68% water, HNO3, and then that is here it forms azeotropic mixture. So look here students, when this nitric acid is subjected for distillation, so we will get here. So I think it is 32% water and 68% nitric acid. So make some, that is differences here, 32% water and 68% nitric acid. So nitric acid is 68%. A mixture of nitric acid and water, so it is 38%, and here it is called as azeotropic mixture. So when this azeotropic mixture is heated, so therefore it boils constantly at this composition. It is called as a specific composition. So here graphical representation can also be shown like this. Look here students. Boiling point, it is also boiling point. Here water, it boils at 100 degree centigrade, and nitric acid HNO3, it boils at 86 degrees centigrade. Look here students, it is a maximum boiling. It is a maximum boiling. So here, when both the components are mixed, so it boils at 120.5 degrees centigrade. 120.5 degrees centigrade. Look here students. Here it is a maximum boiling and it is a minimum boiling. So this is the difference between these two azeotropic forms. So here it is about azeotropic mixture. They may ask for 2 marks question, what are azeotropic mixture and what is maximum boiling azeotropes and minimum boiling azeotropes, and I explained here with both the example, that is here water plus ethanol and water plus nitric acid. So after this, let us see the next unit, that is called as colligative properties. So what are colligative properties? The properties of a dilute solution which depends on the number of solute particles present in a solution but not on its nature is called as a colligative property. So here it is one of the important unit here. Colligative properties. So colligative properties and determination of molecular mass. Colligative property and determination of molecular mass. Look here students, they may ask for 2 marks question, define colligative property or state colligative property. So what is colligative property? The properties of dilute solution we already discussed about dilute solution. Dilute solutions are those which contains a less amount or less quantity of solute particles as compared to the solvent. The properties of dilute solutions of non-volatile solute which depends on the so here look here, which depends on the, on what factor? So which depends on the number of solute particles but not on the nature of the solute particle, or but not on the composition. So the properties of dilute solutions of a non-volatile solute which depends on the number of solute particles present in the solution but not on its nature, so or nature of solute but not on its nature, or nature of solute are called as colligative properties. It is for 2 marks student. What is colligative properties? And here, so there are 4 types of colligative properties. One is, that is number 1, relative lowering of vapor pressure of a solvent. Second one, elevation of boiling point of a solvent. Third one, depression in freezing point of solvent. And the fourth one, osmotic pressure of the solution. So these 4. So sometime they may ask for 2 marks question, write the different types of colligative properties or name the different types of colligative properties. So there are 4 types of colligative properties. There are 4 types of colligative properties. Number 1, relative lowering of vapor pressure of solvent. Relative lowering of vapor pressure of solvent. Second one, elevation of boiling point, elevation of boiling point of the solution or of the solvent. Third one, depression of freezing point of the solvent. Depression of freezing point of the solvent. And last one, osmotic pressure of the solution. Osmotic pressure of the solution. Look here students, these are the 4 types. They may ask for 2 marks question also. Name the colligative properties. So now let us discuss one by one. So the first one is relative lowering of vapor pressure of solvent. Look here, first one. Relative lowering of vapor pressure. So you may write relative lowering of vapor pressure of solvent, or as it is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Look here students, we will discuss one by one. The first point, I will go in the reverse manner. First vapor pressure, lowering of vapor pressure and relative. So you know that what is vapor pressure? As already we studied this vapor pressure in the last unit. The pressure exerted by the vapor above the surface of the liquid is in equilibrium with that liquid is called as vapor pressure. Then the new term comes, that is called as lowering of vapor pressure. Second one, lowering of vapor pressure. So this also you know it. So what is lowering of vapor pressure? Look here students, here I will take so lowering of vapor pressure. It is a pure solvent. It is a pure solvent. Let its vapor pressure will be, its vapor pressure will be P1 and in second beaker so some non-volatile solute is dissolved. Look here. Now it is the solution. It is the vapor pressure. And here vapor pressure. Look here students, what happens here? I will explain one by one. Look here. When the pure solvent is taken in a closed vessel, when a pure solvent is taken in a closed vessel, so here the solvent molecules escape from the surface, the solvent molecules escape from the surface and it forms vapor above the solution or above the solvent. And here the vapor pressure is more. The vapor pressure is more because the solvent molecules only exist here. And in the same way, when a non-volatile solute is dissolved in a volatile solvent, solution is formed, because here it is non-volatile solute plus solvent is equal to solution. It forms solution. When a non-volatile solute is dissolved in a volatile solvent, so therefore here, look here, the surface contains both the solute and solvent, solute and solvent, solute and solvent, solute and solvent particles. And here the solvent molecules does not escape from the surface, because the solute particles does not allow the solvent molecules to escape, and therefore the vapor pressure of the solvent is less. So here the vapor pressure is less and here the vapor pressure is more. So when the vapor pressure is low, it is called as lowering of pressure, or it is also called as lowering of vapor pressure, lowering of vapor pressure, lowering of vapor pressure. So then what is the lowering of vapor pressure? The vapor pressure of the solution is less or lower as compared to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent, because the solute molecule does not allow the solvent molecule to escape from the surface. So it is called as a lowering of vapor pressure. Here the vapor pressure of the solution is lowered. So then how it can be given here? Look here students, here when a non-volatile solute is dissolved, when a non-volatile solute is dissolved in volatile solvent, it forms solution. It forms solution. Look here, it forms a solution. So therefore, the vapor pressure of solution is lower than that of pure solvent. The vapor pressure of the solution is lower than that of the pure solvent. Look here student, it is lower than that of the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. So here the difference in the vapor pressure, or let the vapor pressure of pure solvent will be P1 naught, and the vapor pressure of solution will be P1. So here P1 naught is greater than P1, or P1 naught minus P1, or it is delta P1 is equal to P1 naught minus P1. So this is called as a lowering of vapor pressure. Then what is the definition here? The lowering of vapor pressure is defined as it is the difference between the vapor pressure of the solution and solvent. The lowering of vapor pressure, so that is here it is defined as it is the difference between the vapor pressure of the solution and solvent. So here this is called as it is the definition. So I think that is you got it here. The difference in the vapor pressure of solution and solvent is called lowering of vapor pressure. The difference in the vapor pressure of solution and solvent is called lowering of vapor pressure, it is denoted symbolically like this. So, it is about lowering of vapor pressure, students. And then what is now coming to the main point, what is relative lowering? Here I first we know that vapor pressure, and after that lowering of vapor pressure, and now relative lowering of vapor pressure. So, what is the relative lowering of vapor pressure? So, remember this symbol, this mathematical expression. Then what is a relative lowering of vapor pressure? Look here, what is relative lowering of vapor pressure? Relative lowering of vapor pressure is defined as, it is the ratio of look here students, what is this? The relative lowering of vapor pressure is defined as, it is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of pure solvent. It is the definition here. So, what is the definition here? It is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. Look here, it is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure, it is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of the pure solvent. It is the definition here. It is the mathematical expression. So, here this relative lowering of vapor pressure is given like this, and here how it is related with Raoult's law. How it is related with Raoult's law. Let us see that is Raoult's law, how it is related. Look here. So, here Raoult's law gives the relation between vapor pressure of the solution mole fraction, you write mole fraction both, that is it gives the vapor pressure of the solution and mole fraction and vapor pressure of the pure solvent. And look here student, it is given by, we know that P1 is equal to, so P1 not X1. It is equation number 1. Look here, P1 is called as vapor pressure of solution, P1 naught is called as vapor pressure of pure solvent, and X1 is called as mole fraction. X1 is called as a mole fraction. It is equation number 1. And now, look here, we know that delta P1 is equal to P1 naught minus P1. It is equation number 2. So, in that is lowering of vapor pressure. It is the lowering of vapor pressure. So, now substituting the value of P1. So, here P1 value is there, P1 is equal to P1 naught X1, and this value is substituted here in this equation. Substituting the value of P1 in equation 2, we have delta P1 is equal to P1 naught minus P1 naught x1 equation 3. Look here, delta P1 is equal to, so it is P1 naught as it is, P1 is equal to P1 naught x1, P1 naught x1. And now look here students, we know that delta P1 is equal to, here I will write P1 naught as it is minus P1 naught. So what is x1? What is x1? So in the mole fraction, we know that sum of the mole fraction is equal to unity. x1 plus x2 is equal to 1. So therefore, here I will write x1 plus x2 is equal to 1. Therefore, x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. It is mole fraction. Then I will substitute here this x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. Equation number 4. Equation number 4. I think it is clear to you all. So it is here, it is x1 and x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. So here it is, I think it is clear to you all up to this. So then students look here. Here 1 minus x2. So that is, if you open the bracket, then you will get another equation. So here I will write delta P1 is equal to, P1 naught minus P1 naught, and then here it is minus, that is it is x2, and here common is taken, and instead of, you may write directly x1 plus x2 is equal to 1 and x1 is equal to 1 minus x2, and here it is x1 is equal to 1 minus x2. So P1 naught minus, that is here minus into minus plus, here that is you may write P1 naught x2 also, or you may also write direct equation. You may write a direct equation. Otherwise, we will go for another shortcut like this. Here I will show. Look here students, I will show now. Here it is P1 naught minus P1 naught x1, P1 naught x1. I substituted here this value P1 naught x1, and here what is delta P1? I will write here. Look here students, I will write here. So I will make a shortcut instead of doing this long. So P1 is equal to, here I will take P1 naught common, and I will write 1 minus x1, 1 minus x1 equation number 4. And we know that x1 plus x2 is equal to 1, and then so x1 is equal to, or here that is x2 is equal to 1 minus x1. Look here students, it is a mole fraction, and then I will write delta P1 is equal to, so it is here P1 naught x2 equation number 5. Then what is x2? x2 is nothing but mole fraction of solute, and the mole fraction, what is mole fraction of solute? It is the number of moles of solute, that is component 1 divided by number of moles of component 1 plus component 2, that is called as a mole fraction. And here it may be also written like this. Look here, delta P1 is equal to, or delta P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to x2. So x2 is called as x2 is a mole fraction. x2 is a mole fraction, and it may be also written like this. Look here students, it may be also written like this. So I will show here. I will show. So delta P1 is equal to P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to x2, and it may be also written like this. P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to N2 divided by N1 plus N2. Look here, x2 is equal to number of moles of solute divided by number of moles of solvent plus solute. So here we know that x2 is equal to N2 divided by N1 plus N2. So here we know that. So here the relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to the mole fraction. Relative lowering of vapor pressure, relative lowering of vapor pressure is equal to the mole fraction. Hence it is a colligative property. Hence it is a colligative property, means it depends upon the number of solute particles but not on the nature. So this is about this mole fraction, how it is related with this relative lowering of vapor pressure. Now students, how to calculate the molecular mass using the relative lowering of vapor pressure? So I think it is clear to you. So instead of going that is long way, I have made that is shortcut here only. Otherwise, so you may substitute value of x1 is equal to that is x2. Again you have to that is open the bracket, and here it is a shortcut method. I think it is clear to you all. Then how to calculate the molecular mass? By using relative lowering of vapor pressure. So look here students. Look here, calculation of molecular mass of solute using relative lowering of vapor pressure. So look here, calculation of molecular mass of solute using relative RLVP, relative lowering of vapor pressure. So look here students, here we know that P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to, so N2 divided by N1 plus N2, equation number 1. So here N1 and N2 are the number of moles of solvent and solute. N1 is equal to solvent and N2 is equal to solute. Number of moles of solvent and solute. So present in a dilute solution. Number of moles of solvent and solute. But in dilute solution, N2 is very less, solute is very less. In a dilute solution, solute present in a very less quantity. It is called as dilute solution. N2 is very less, that is N2 is less than N1 and is neglected in the denominator. So look here N1 and N2 are the number of moles of solvent and solute, but in dilute solution N2 is very less, that is solute particles are very less, then it is called as dilute solution, and then N2 is neglected, N2 is very less and is neglected in the denominator. So we will get P1 naught minus P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to N2 divided by N1, equation 2. Then what is N2? N2 is equal to number of moles of solute, that is number of moles of solute. And what is number of moles of solute? Number of moles of solute is equal to mass upon mass of the solute divided by molecular mass. That is nothing but N2 is equal to W2 upon M2. W2 is equal to mass of solute M2 is equal to molar mass of solute and N1 is equal to W1 divided by M1. So W1 is equal to mass of solvent and M1 is equal to molar mass of solvent. Look here students, and substituting these values, P1 naught minus a P1 divided by P1 naught is equal to, so here it is W2 into M1 divided by M2 into W1. It is the equation. So here remember, so this W2 into M1 and M2 into W1, it is the equation here. And here our heading is calculation of molecular mass of solute. So molecular mass of solute is here, M2 is equal to molar mass of solute, and we have to calculate here. So here, that is, I will take this M2 this side. So M2 is equal to, so what happens here? M2 is equal to, it is W2 into M1 into P1 naught divided by, so W1 into P1 naught minus P1. So I think it is right. Look here students. So M2 is equal to molecular mass, and molecular mass of the solute can be calculated by knowing all these datas. W2 into M1 into P1 naught divided by W1 P1 naught minus P1. So it is about relative lowering of vapor pressure. And now student, the second colligative property, elevation in boiling point. Let us see that one. Elevation in boiling point. Elevation of a boiling point. So first question arises here. What is boiling point? Why the solution or liquid boils? How it boils? When it boils? So here the boiling point is defined as the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure or external pressure. So students, when the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure, then only the liquid boils. Any liquid, water, alcohol, benzene, any. When the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to its atmospheric pressure, then only it boils. So that is called as boiling point. So the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure, or it is also called as external pressure. The temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid becomes equal to the atmospheric pressure is called boiling point. It is called as boiling point of the liquid, or boiling point of the solution, or boiling point of the component. So it is called as boiling point. Then here the question comes, so how the water boils? And here what is the elevation in boiling point? Elevate, to change. What is the elevation in boiling point? Look here students, here number 1, pure water means it is a solvent, pure water solvent, it is taken in a beaker. And when it is heated at about 100 degrees centigrade and its atmospheric pressure becomes equal to 1.013 bar. Its atmospheric pressure becomes equal to, that is 1.013 bar, then only this liquid begins to boil. 1.013 bar, then only this liquid begins to boil. So here let the vapor pressure of this, the boiling point of this pure solvent, boiling point of pure solvent will be T0 B, look here, it is T0 B, and again same, when non-volatile solute plus this water, it is taken, it becomes a solution, it forms a solution. A non-volatile solute like urea is dissolved in water, it forms a solution, and when it forms a solution, so suppose here water boils at 100 degrees centigrade, and what is the boiling point of this solution? Whether it may be less or more. So look here students, when a non-volatile solute is added to water, the boiling point always increases. The boiling point is always more than that of the pure solvent. Why? Because we already know that the solute particles are present on the surface and it does not allow the solvent molecules to escape on the surface. Hence the vapor pressure decreases. The vapor pressure decreases. And when this mixture, this water is heated or solution is heated, so when its vapor pressure becomes equal to 1.013, then only it boils. Here the vapor pressure is less. So therefore here the vapor pressure of solution is less, and then here, that is, let its boiling point will be, that is TB. Its boiling point will be TB. So here students, the vapor pressure of solution is less, and hence it boils at high temperature as compared to the pure solvent, So therefore here it boils at a higher temperature. Thus the boiling point of the solution is always greater or always higher than that of the pure solvent. The boiling point of solution is always higher than that of pure solvent. So boiling point of solution is higher than that of the pure solvent. So therefore here how it is given, look here students. Look here. Let the boiling point of pure solvent will be T0 B. Let the boiling point of solution in which non-volatile solute is dissolved, solution will be TB. Then here TB is greater than T0 B, therefore it is written as delta TB is equal to, so it is delta TB is equal to TB minus T0 B. So this is called as elevation in boiling point. So how do you define this, students? How do you will define this? Tb minus T naught. Delta Tb is equal to Tb minus T naught B. So, the elevation in boiling point is defined as it is the difference between the boiling point of the solution and pure solvent. The difference in the boiling point of pure solvent and solution is called as elevation in boiling point. So, it is for 2 marks. What is elevation in boiling point? You write only definition. You don't write all these explanations. Don't write all these explanations. Only elevation in boiling point. Elevation in boiling point. It is the difference in the boiling point of difference in the boiling point of pure solvent and solution. The difference in the boiling point of the pure solvent and solution is called as elevation in boiling point. So, it is about definition. And here this elevation in boiling point is a colligative property, because remember students, here this elevation in boiling point is directly proportional to the molality. Means that is concentration, the molar concentration of the solute particles present in the solution. Hence, it is a colligative property. So, here experiment shows that the elevation in boiling point is directly proportional to the molality. So, I will write directly delta Tb is equal to delta Tb is proportional to m. M is called as molality. So, 1, or it may be also written as delta Tb is equal to Kb into m. So, equation 2. Then what is a Kb? So, what is a Kb? So, Kb is called as elevation, boiling point elevation constant. Kb is called as a boiling point elevation constant or molar elevation constant, or it is also called as ebullioscopic constant. Look here students, where m is the molality and Kb is the molar elevation constant, or ebullioscopic constant, means boiling constant. So, then here when m is equal to 1, that is unity, then delta Tb is equal to it is Kb. So, delta Tb is equal to Kb. So, delta Tb is equal to Kb is equal to what? The molar elevation constant is defined as the elevation in boiling point is produced when 1 mole of a non-volatile solute is dissolved in a volatile solvent or solution. So, remember student, it is defined as the elevation in boiling point produced or caused by dissolving 1 mole of a non-volatile solute in a solvent. It is called as molar elevation constant. Now, let us see how it is related with molecular mass. How it is related with molecular mass. By using elevation in boiling point. Look here students, we know that when here I will write a small explanation, that is when W2 gram of solute of molecular mass M2 is dissolved in W1 gram of solvent, then its molality will be M is equal to, so we know that the molality formula M is equal to W2 into 1000 divided by M2 into W1. So substituting this in equation, so it is, we know that delta TB is equal to KB into M in this equation. Then delta TB is equal to KB into M, W2 into 1000 divided by M2 into W1. Look at students, value of M is substituted here. Substituting in equation, that is I rubbed already, that's why I have written that equation. And then here we have to calculate molecular mass. M2 is equal to, take M2 this side, then it is KB into W2 into 1000 divided by, so delta TB into W1. So by this we can calculate the molecular mass of the solute. So students, up to this, that is, we have studied the two colligative properties, and two colligative properties are remained. So let us discuss in the next video. Thank you.